My name is Gaurav Singh, registration number 19BCE1835. This is the digital assignment 3 for the topic Diffie-Hellman key exchange. I'll get to the introduction. Uh, so, significant portion of today's internet is encrypted using secret encryption keys. So, apart from security, encrypting communication channels maintain both the confidentiality and the integrity of the data that is being transmitted. So the exchange of these secret keys has always been very secretive, irrespective of the scope, until the development of the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm for public use. So it helps solve the problem of exchanging symmetric encryption keys without compromising the data integrity. So data encryption, as we can say, is a method of translating data into another uh, form giving access to only people who have the decryption key or password to read it. So it is one of the most secure methods used widely for encryption of the data. So the main aim of encryption is to protect the data that is stored on computer systems. So the modern algorithms have replaced the outdated data encryption uh, standards, that is DES, and that play a very crucial role in the IT security system. So one such algorithm that has been popularly used by industries is, in fact, Diffie-Hellman key exchange. So it is also called an exponential key exchange, which is a digital encryption method that produces a decryption key with numbers raised to a specific powers depending on the non-transmitted components. So the algorithm provides confidentiality and drives key security initiatives such as authentication and integrity. So these signify the message verification, no change in message content, and ensure that the sender cannot deny sending the message. Uh, so coming to the main topic. So it is a method for securely exchanging cryptographic keys over insecure channels without compromising the security and integrity of the data transmission. So it was first developed and published in 1976 by Martin Hellman and Whitefield Diffie. So until you received the asymmetric encryption algorithms that never relied on any category of key exchange, symmetric encryption was the only way to communicate securely. A secret method to exchange the private keys for this brand of cryptography was much needed. So there are three distinctive steps to exchange keys from its first generation to its transmission, which will be discussed further. So this algorithm was first used to develop and exchange keys over insecure channel safely, as I said. So what it did was it set a milestone and is still used today in various applications with where encryption is required. So let me explain with a simple example. So what if you want to communicate with a spy from an allied nation whom I don't know? So there's no secure channel to talk to them. So messages sent without encryption can make undesirable person read the content. So if the encryption is done on the message, so no one will be able to read it. So the issue can be handled easily with the Diffie-Hellman key exchange, which makes this method unique. So the algorithm, what it does is provision safely create a shared key on a secure channel and even over an insecure channel tracked by the adversaries. So coming to the history, so Whitefield Diffie and cryptologist Martin Hellman together coined the term Diffie-Hellman key exchange to provide a sound mechanism for cryptography. So this invention was inspired by the earlier developments made by scientist Ralph Merkle, who had generated some puzzles that would take some computational resources to solve. So this exchange used some of those ideas and made them complicated for creating a secured method for public key cryptography. So now coming to the steps. So there are certain steps to be followed. The first is you choose a prime number, let's say Q, and a primitive root Q as alpha. To be a primitive root, it must satisfy some criteria like which is shown in the diagram. To be a primitive root, these conditions should be followed. Coming to the next steps. Step two is that we assume that the private key for our sender as XA, where XA is less than Q. So the public key can be calculated with the formula given. So the pair key for the sender becomes XA YA. So assuming that the private key for the receiver to be XB, where XB is also less than a Q, the public key for the receiver is calculated using the formula as shown. And for receiver, the key pair becomes XB YB. Coming to the third step, so to generate the final secret key, we use three parameters. For sender, we need to calculate, we need the private key, that is XA, the receiver's public key YB, and the original Q. So the formula for calculating the key is given. Uh, so, so for the receiver, we need the private key YA, sender's public key XB, and the original Q. So the formula to calculate is also given. So if at the end, if both the values of k generated are equal, so the Diffie-Hellman exchange algorithm is completed. Uh, uh, let's deep dive into it with an example. So the steps I've explained, now I explain with the example. Let's take a prime number q to be 17. Its primitive root, which we select with a value of alpha to be 3, satisfies the condition as 3 mod 17 is 3, and 3 square mod 17 is 9, 3 cube mod 17 is 10, which are all less than 17. So next, we assume the sender's private key to be 15. The XA, we assume XA to be 15. YA is calculated as 6, and the key pair of a sender becomes 15, 6. Similarly, for the receiver's end, we assume the private key XB to be 13. The private key YB is calculated as 313. Mod 17 as 12. So the key pair becomes 13, 12. So next, the secret key is generated on the sender side, which is K is 10. Secret key for a receiver side, K is calculated as 10. So since the both keys generated are equal, so Diffie exchange is valid, and the secret key 10 can encrypt both the users. So let's discuss why is it necessary. So symmetric encryptions have always been a reliable method of cryptography for exchange of private information. So a flaw that has been the difficulty in sharing the requisite secret key with the receiver or a message. So it can intercept the key transmitted over an insecurely channel by hackers who can use the same key to decrypt the encrypted ciphertext. Uh, so the Diffie-Hellman algorithm solves this problem using one-way functions. So that enable only the sender and the receiver to decrypt the message using a secret key. Coming to the variations of this. So Diffie-Hellman key exchange can be implemented in a number of different ways. Uh, and it has also provided the basis for several other algorithms. So some of these implementation provide authorization, while others have various cryptographic features such as perfect forward secrecy. Some of them are elective curve Diffie-Hellman TLS, Algamel STS, elliptical curve Diffie-Hellman. So it takes advantage of the algebraic structure of the elliptic curves to allow its implementation. So to achieve a similar level of insecurity with a smaller key size. So 224-bit elliptical curve key provides the same level of security as a 2048-bit RSA key. So this can make exchanges more efficient and reduce the storage requirements. So apart from the smaller key length and the fact that it relies on the properties of the elliptical curve Diffie-Hellman operates in a similar manner to the standard Diffie-Hellman key exchange. TLS is a protocol that is used to secure much of the internet. So that can use Diffie-Hellman exchange in 3 different ways: anonymous, static, and ephemeral. So Elgamal is a public key algorithm that is built on top of Diffie-Hellman key exchange. So like Diffie-Hellman, it contains no provisions for authentication of its own. It is generally combined with other mechanisms for this purpose. Coming to STS, STS stands for station to station. So it is a protocol that is also based on Diffie-Hellman key exchange. It's another key agreement scheme. However, it provides protection against man-in-the-middle attacks as well as perfect forward secrecy. So it requires both parties in connection to already have a key pair, which is used to authenticate each side. So if the parties aren't already known to each other, then the certificates can be used to validate the identification of the both parties. Coming to the application, that is public key infrastructure, SSL, TLS handshake, secure shell, SSH. Public key infrastructure or PKI, it's basically a set of tools and rules to enforce public key cryptography with multiple entities. It also governs the insurance of digital certificates over the internet to maintain data confidentiality. So with Diffie-Hellman algorithm as the base, the PKI system was created to enable the exchange of public keys with anyone who knows and requests for it and has the appropriate permissions. Coming to SSL and TLS certificate handshakes. So internet browsers are authenticated with a website because the website servers using an SSL and TLS handshake certificate and many keys. So this is possible only because of key exchange algorithms. How? Because they enable the secure exchange of cryptographic entities all over the channel. So secure shell access, SSH. So that is a cryptographic protocol used to access system terminals from a third-party application or an appliance. So the Diffie-Hellman algorithm assists in exchanging the keys between both the system before enabling remote access. Coming to the pros and cons. So advantages of Diffie-Hellman can be said the sender and the receiver don't need any prior knowledge of each other. So once the keys are exchanged, the communication of data can be done through an insecure channel. The sharing of secret key is safe. Coming to the disadvantages. So the algorithm can not be sued for asymmetric key exchange. Similarly, it cannot be used for signing digital signatures. Since it doesn't authenticate any party in transmission, the Diffie-Hellman key exchange is susceptible to man-in-the-middle attacks. Coming to conclusion. So Diffie-Hellman exchange has proved to be a useful key exchange system due to its advantages. So when it's really tough for someone snooping the network to decrypt the data and get the keys, it is still possible if the numbers generated are not entirely random. Also, the keys exchange system makes it possible to do a man-in-the-middle attack. To avoid it, both parties should be very careful at the beginning of the exchange. Thank you.